Okay, so before I go into the section, I've got our final survey of this coaching session. So if you haven't joined in so far, please join in, use the plus button and cast your vote. So the question is, and it's a bit of a cheeky question, it's, are someone's photos the first thing you look at on their profile? So I want you to be honest, is it the photos that you check out first? Please cast your vote, yes or no. So I'm going to be interested to hear what the results of this one are. So of course, I don't have the opportunity or the pleasure, I would say, of going through and seeing all of your individual photos, but hopefully I'm going to give you 5 quick tips now, which will give you a good idea of what photos are going to work better than others. So the first technique that I want to discuss with you today is, how is your photo framed? And I don't mean framed like picture frame. I mean framed like, where are you in the photo? Now, as you'll see this evening, unless you've got me on audio, is if you're looking at the video of me, I've got a bit of space to my left, a bit of space to my right, and a bit of space on the top of my head. And this is really nice framing for a photograph. So it's actually good to have some negative space behind and around you. It shows you really clearly, but you're not taking over the whole shot. So if you have too many shots where you're very close up, I won't come in too close, and perhaps because you're close up and at a funny angle, someone can't quite see you clearly, or if you're too little in the photo, and again, someone can't see you clearly, this is going to make your profile less effective, your photo less effective. So even if you've got a really cool picture of yourselves next to like some pyramids, if you are teeny tiny in the shot, don't use that photo. Use a photo of yourself where you are clearer. The most important things about your photos are clarity. Can someone easily see what you look like? So that leads me quite neatly onto my second teaching point, which is, are your photos clear enough? So there's 2 real things I want you to think about here. First of all, more recent photos will be clearer. Photos that are newer are going to have more pixels, so they're going to actually be much sharper and look better. If a lot of your photos you're using are from quite a few years ago, I would highly recommend you head out with a tripod or a very nice friend and get some modern pictures of yourself. Just by using you don't need a professional camera or anything like that. Just by having a modern smartphone, that's going to get in portrait mode, particularly, that will get some really nice high resolution images of you. We also want to make sure, as a secondary thing, that the photo is well lit. Now, if you could see behind the scenes here today, I have a literal army of lights around me. I've got a light here, a light there, a light behind me. So lighting is very, very, very important. Now, if you don't have an army of lights at your disposal, what you can do is choose to take your pictures facing a natural light source. And the easiest one to think about is just a window. So if you have your back to the window, you're going to be in shadow. If the window is in front of you, and the camera is between you, you're going to get some nice natural light on your face. You also sometimes may want to consider taking pictures at what the Instagrams of the world call golden hour, which is sort of sunrise or sunset, where you get this really flattering, nice golden light. And you may also be surprised to hear that on those traditionally English or British, I should say, overcast grey days, they can actually be really good for taking photos. The light is often really great. So think about your lighting as well, and think about making your pictures more recent. Third quick pointer, I want you to make sure that your body language looks relaxed in your pictures. Now, I know that most of you out there probably won't love having your photo taken. It's not usually people's favorite thing. But if you are having some new photos taken and you immediately want to make them look better, probably one of the easiest things you can do is just take a deep breath in and then let it go. And actually, by having a bit of a slouch, or by just looking more relaxed and less tense, again, the value that's going to really communicate about yourself is, again, people look at the photo and they'll think, wow, this is a really relaxed, cool person. The other thing you can think about with your body language is just how symmetrical or not your body language is. When our body language is very symmetrical and rigid, so that could be, symmetrical is the 2 sides of your body look exactly the same. What that can do is it can make us look more tense and more nervous. So again, just by creating some asymmetry by a tilt of the head, or by putting one shoulder back, or having one knee stacked on the other, or leaning against a wall. Asymmetry will often make your photos also appear much more relaxed. So if you had to pick a quality that you want to demonstrate to your photos, it's that you look comfortable having that photo taken. The fourth tip, which is again a biggie, is what's in the background of your pictures. Now, I'm sure if I had a lot of interesting stuff in the background here, that might distract you, and you might be thinking, oh, what's in Hayley's living room? And people will do exactly the same with your photograph. So if you've got a slightly messy bedroom in the background, that perhaps isn't communicating the right values about what you're about. Instead, I want you to think about using a background which shows sort of what it would be like to hang out with you and go on a date with you. So maybe a nice outdoor cafe, a walk in the park, a food market, cycling. I want you to picture, which really gives someone an insight into what it would be like to spend time with you. And failing that, other great backgrounds are often very plain ones. So a plain white wall, a plain brick wall, a wall that's covered with ivy, a wall that has some cool graffiti on it. These plainer backgrounds, which are more like solid blocks of colour, often make your photos pop out more. So I want you to encourage you to have and be conscious of what's in your background. Final question about your photos is, have you got the right amount of them? So needless to say, if you only have 1 or 2 photos in there, there's probably not enough trust that's been built for someone to really understand what you're about. So remember, someone needs to clearly be able to see what you're all about. So we need to have at least 3 or 4 photos on there. Likewise, though, we don't need to go to the other end of the spectrum and have as many photos as possible. Instead, if you're not quite sure about a photo, it might well be worth taking that photo down. I also want you to see your photos as something you're continually updating. It's an area that you're going to be focusing on and working on. So keep coming back to your profile. I want you to use the session to keep encouraging you, to keep looking at it again, to keep crafting your profile, and to keep looking through your pictures and looking at ways to improve them. So I have just got the survey results through, and unsurprisingly, and thank you for being honest, everyone. I think this shows we've got an honest crowd here tonight. It says that 95% of people will look at someone's photos as the first part they look at on their profile. So you better make sure those photos are doing you justice. So let's just have a quick recap, and then I've got a few more questions for you. So first of all, better quality photos is going to be one of the easiest ways you're going to get better matches. Don't be afraid to go out there and take some more new photos of yourself. Make sure your photos are doing you justice. Are your photos telling you a story of what it'd be like to date you? Have you got photos of yourself in date locations that show what it would be like to spend time with you? Finally, a bit of an obvious one here. Are you clearly visible in all of your images? And funnily enough, this point is being backed up by a question that I've seen come in, which I love. It's not even really a question, it's more of a comment. Caroline says, could you suggest that men don't wear sunglasses on their profile picture? We want to see those lovely eyes. Now, I love it when we get a bit of coaching from people in this group. I like it when you got that sharing of opinion. And I think Caroline makes a really valid point there, that apart from having good lighting, apart from the background, apart from our body language, if we have things that obscure what we look like, whether it's a sombrero, big glasses, or something else that's getting in the way of people being able to see you clearly, that won't work as effectively as not having those sunglasses on. Now, if you're like Caroline and you have an opinion on this that you want to share, please feel free to add that into our chat box, as well as sending your questions in, as just coming up in a minute, we have our live Q&A. But before then, I've got a couple of other questions I've already picked out that I can't wait to answer. So the first one of these is from Serms, who asks, how do I take the best photos of myself? Well, hopefully the previous section, which was all about remembering about your photo quality, thinking about your lighting, thinking about your background, thinking about where you are, thinking about the framing of your photo, Hopefully that's given you lots of good ideas about how you can improve your photos. I would just add to that really that you probably need to take quite a few pictures. Probably those people that you see on Instagram that have really amazing photos, I can tell you now that isn't the first photo they took of themselves that day. So don't be afraid, as I said, to get a friend or a tripod and have a day where you have a few different outfits. So you try grabbing a lot of pictures of yourself, and you might take 200 photos and choose 5 of them. So it might take, again, a lot of the secret to success here is about making that effort, is about putting your best foot forwards and really trying to get the best images of you that you can. Andrew adds to this question by saying, what's the best approach if I'm not photogenic? So I think the good news is, Andrew, that I don't think most people out there are looking for a supermodel. So it's not, having supermodel looks isn't going to make or break your online dating. What you can do is focus on what you can really work on. So lighting is very important. As I said, when our face is in shadow, I don't know, for me, it shows up on my wrinkles. I don't like it. So having good lighting will always make you look better. Secondly, think about your style. Style and fashion communicate a lot about us. So if you want to, again, think that you want to dress almost like how you would dress for your photos, almost like you dressed how you would go on that date. So I want you to think about creating that fashionable, modern, cool look, which communicates the right values about yourself. Finally, focus on your body language. Don't need to be the best looking person in the world. What you do want to look is really comfortable within yourself. Show that self-esteem through really strong body language. I want to keep your chin nice and up. I want to keep your shoulders rolled back, no hunching over. I want you to stand in using that asymmetrical body language, which really shows just how comfortable you are with yourself. And I think we could all agree that if someone's really comfortable within yourself, there's not much there that's more attractive. So I can't believe that hour has just flown by. What happened? We've hopefully covered quite a few different teaching points around how you can make your profile, photos, and first messages all that stronger and better. Hopefully we've gone through some really practical stuff that you've enjoyed, and I've given you plenty of tips you can work with. However, we're soon going to start my favorite part, my absolute favorite bit of our live coaching session, which is I'm going to do a live Q&A.